It's been a minute since I have made a massage about the back and any kind of general work, so I thought it would be fun for this video to show you guys my intro protocol and how I focus in on the back, how to work on it, how to think about it, and the kinds of things that I do in an intro session. So I have Isabel on the table, and I know that she is very strong and she works out a lot. So I want to focus on all of the muscles along the spine and make sure that they're not over stabilizing. Because one of the big things that I want you guys to think about when you're working on the back in general, and you start these initial strokes with any session, whether it be Swedish, deep tissue, orthopedic work, whatever it is that you're doing, I want you to think about the fact that these muscles along the spine are so responsible for so many little moving parts. All of those vertebrae, where the ribs come in and articulate with the vertebrae, and everything in between, all the way from the sacrum to the base of the skull. And there's a lot of different muscles that are really moving and manipulating and mostly stabilizing what these bones are doing. So I am very aware that Isabel works out and she does a lot of weightlifting. So I want to focus on the fact that I'm going to start by warming up the more superficial erector spinae group. These are the muscles that go from sacrum to skull, the spinalis, the longissimus, and the iliocostalis. And I'm just making sure that they are reacting well to my work. So as I work, I'm palpating and starting to get an idea of where she's holding tension, what I can feel, what she can feel, and communicating to her about anything that we might agree on or disagree on. Because oftentimes when I feel something, it doesn't mean that my client feels something. And I want to make sure that we're on the same page and I'm not just diving into work that she might be thinking, I don't know what she's doing right now. That's not what I'm feeling or what I talked about. But I want to communicate to her. So I might be saying at this point something along the lines of, I feel a lot of tension in here. Does that correlate with what you feel? She may say yes or no. But I'm going to choreograph my work and cultivate what I'm doing around her responses. And if I still think that this is where the tension is, but she's feeling it somewhere else, I'm going to make sure that I'm doing work that associates those two spots. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. So I'm really starting to warm things up at this point, noticing anything, talking to her. And when I start to get more specific, I want to make sure that my own mechanics are supported. So from here, I'm going to take one hand and use nice flat finger pads right along the erector spinae group. And I'm just going to create a little bit of circular friction, supporting one hand with the other and sliding down into the thoracic section towards the lumbar spine. The important thing to remember as I do this is that if I stay here, my intention is pointing down and I want to shift that. So I'm going to stay with this work, but instead of trying to adjust, or actually instead of creating a pinch in these tissues, I'm going to figure out my own body mechanics and change my intention so that I'm kind of working with the curves of her spine and what these muscles are telling me, as opposed to trying to force something or create an extra pinch or a stress in her tissues. Remember that one of the most common things that a back suffers from is like a compressive, loading every day with gravity. And so I wanted to try to remember that one of my goals is to keep everything open and long. And if I sink in and do any work that creates a reaction, I want to acknowledge that and make sure that I focus on helping these muscles remember that they don't need to be so stressed. It's okay. We're going to get through this. So I would repeat this a couple times, connect this work up from the base of her spine all the way up to the skull, and repeat coming down and maybe in just a slightly different line. So instead of coming directly on top, Maybe this time I'm a little more lateral, starting to feel the ribs a little bit more, a little more iliocostalis, paying attention to the intercostals, coming into the lower traps and the lats, thinking about that really tight thoracolumbar aponeurosis that's responsible for so much stability, all that fascia, and then just a little bit down into the QL here. And then releasing through, making nice. And then one more time, but I want to stay closer to the spine this time. Right lateral to the spinous processes, into the lamina groove, and down into those deeper transversospinalis muscles. The semispinalis, the multifidus, the rotators, seeing if they're doing anything in reaction to the work that I'm doing, or if my client is noticing anything new or different. These are muscles that often people aren't even aware that they have. So sometimes it's good to just bring that awareness in and then start to curate your work from there.
What's up, guys? Check this.
I don't think so. This is Beyond Oil, made right here in this warehouse with real functional ingredients that you can trust. And it's pumpable. What you use matters. Now back to work. So from here, I would switch my focus a little bit away from the muscles along the spine and into the muscles that help navigate the shoulder. So I'm going to switch my position over to the side of the table. I'm going to guide my client's arm off the table and start to pay attention to all the muscles that are both back muscles and shoulder muscles and how they interact with each other and how they get along, because oftentimes they don't get along. I'm going to do a little neck work later on, but for now I'm going to focus on coming from this direction. I started by coming from the top towards the sacrum, and now I'm kind of working in the opposite direction. So sliding my hands up and starting to sink in with my fingertips, again, just gathering information and getting a good idea of what my client is feeling, what I'm feeling, having conversations around if those two things match up and what that means for the work that I'm going to do. So sliding out through the arm, connecting all of these together, paying attention to the traps, the lats, the rhomboids, and starting to come into the muscles of the scapula a little bit. So infraspinatus in here, teres major and minor in here, not because they are necessarily back muscles, but because there is no disconnect. And there's definitely not a shoulder issue that isn't related to some kind of back tension. And I want to make sure I pay attention to those two things. So as I kind of slide through in between the scapula and the spine, I'm going to start to work a little bit deeper using a soft forearm here for this first pass through, following that up with my hands, connecting it up into the neck and sliding it out through the arm. And then maybe on the second pass, I get a little bit deeper. And the only way, not the only way, but one of the ways to do this is to either rotate out a little bit, so I'm using more of my ulna, or bending my elbow a little bit, so I'm getting actually a little more pointed pressure in these areas. I'm using my right hand here to stabilize the arm, just to kind of offer a little traction and get a feel for if she reacts and what that might look like or mean for her. Obviously, commonly, there's a ton of tension in this area, in the rhomboids, in the serratus posterior superior, and in those deeper erectors. So as I slide through here, I want to get some good information about what the position of her arm here and her scapula is doing for her and for this work, and translating that into a good conversation about maybe what she does in her day-to-day life, or how she might have some patterns, muscle firing patterns that are contributing to tension or any kind of chronic trigger point issues. And then I'm going to bring this work down into the more inferior aspect of the scapula, mainly because I really always include this in bodywork. So there's a couple things that pop up here for sure. I'm holding the entire scapula and I'm using my thumb as a pressure point, supporting it with my other thumb, but Clearly, if any of you are watching this and you're ticklish inherently, you might even be reacting right now to what this could feel like. So ticklishness comes up a lot, and if this is creating a ticklish response for your client, one of the best things you can do is just switch from a pointed pressure to a nice broad, flat pressure. So I'm going to switch to my palm. And as I do this, I want to acknowledge that I'm pushing her shoulder up into her neck. So I'm going to come down and create a nice resistance, pull her shoulder down away from her neck, open some space in here, and use this as resistance for my hand coming up in here, trying to get some of that attention in here without creating that ticklish response. Pulling through here. And I keep continuing to connect the shoulder to the back. This is a big focus of mine. The back has to stabilize when the shoulder wants to do anything, and it's not necessarily that it has to be stiff. It can rotate if the shoulder is going to do something, but it definitely needs to stabilize. So you want to pay attention to the relationship between what the rotator cuff muscles are doing, what the lats are doing, what all of these deeper shoulder muscles are trying to create when it creates any movement in the arm and in the shoulder, and how that calls into action the muscles of the back. And if I've done any specific work here, I'm going to come through and offer the whole global shoulder a little compression. And what I mean by global is the fact that there's not just a back and a side here, there's a front and there's a top. So I'm going to come into the top of the shoulder, pull up a little bit, slide my arm underneath the front of the shoulder. So I've got the anterior deltoids in my palm, and I've got my fingertips right underneath her clavicle into the pecs. And I'm just creating a nice connection from the back to the front, to the top, to the side, and getting her brain to kind of acknowledge that this whole joint is one big connected mover and plays a big role in back health. I'm going to transition from having her arm in this position. I'm going to support right at the elbow, give her arm a little swing, make sure that the shoulder is relaxing, and pull the arm off the top of the front of the table here, making sure that the table doesn't pinch anything on the inside of her arm. There's lots of nerve vessels and blood vessels in here. So as I drop it, I want to make sure she's comfortable and check in with her about the fact that if it starts to go numb or if she starts to feel anything, I can either offer support or reposition her arm back up here. In this position though, from here, I'm going to hold the elbow right here, encourage her to let her arm be nice and heavy in my hand, and I'm going to connect this entire side all the way down to the low back. So keeping it a little bit loose right at the elbow. I don't want to pinch anything, and I don't want to smush her arm into her face or into the face cradle. So I'm tractioning with my right arm in this direction towards me. And as I slide down, I'm thinking about the lats, the traps, all the way down into the erectors. And my hand here at the hip is hooking into the top of the iliac crest and creating a nice stretch here. Tractioning down with my left hand and up with my right hand here. So this is a great kind of beginning stroke to make sure that this position feels okay for her, and just acknowledging or just kind of like nudging her to let go and keep this arm nice and relaxed. From here, I'm going to continue down the back, but because the arm is now in this position, the scapula is rotated out, which is going to expose and open up and lengthen a lot of these muscles between the medial scapula of the spine, or the medial spine of the scapula, the medial edge of the scapula and the spine. And I'm going to get a little more detailed in this work here. When the arm is up here, these muscles are a little bit softened and a little bit more relaxed, or not really relaxed, but just kind of compressed in. With this position, they're nice and long and open. And if they are indeed staying relaxed, which they are right now, I can do a lot more detailed work in here. So thinking about the layers of the medial traps, the base of the lats is really down here. The lats come up, but not quite this high. And then the rhomboids, and then the serratus posterior superior, deep in here. And then obviously the erectors coming kind of across. So lots of fiber directions this way and lots of fiber directions this way. And then giving them a little bit of a break from each other. They can get in a lot of fights because they crisscross over each other, and people don't even like that. So muscles don't like that either. So it's nice to remember that they want a little space and a little blood flow and a little breath. And in this instance, I would normally maybe focus on some trigger points or get a little deeper with my work here using a forearm or an elbow, and then maybe even playing around with some engagement. So one of the great engagement techniques to do from here is to hold my pressure right in here, find a good spot, and I'm gonna have my client lift her arm, point it towards the wall in front of her, so behind me, and I'm gonna hold this pressure as she holds her arm there. I'm gonna ask her to reach towards the wall, really engaging all of these stabilizers, really asking these muscles to engage and create a contraction. I'm staying compressed in against that engagement, and as she lets go ahead and drop your arm all the way back down. I want to get her to relax even more. Remind her that gravity can pull her arm all the way down. Maybe ask her to take a nice big deep breath here. Expand the ribs. Good. Let the hips go. Let the kneecaps go, let the toes go, let the jaw go, and then start to get really detailed with this work in here. This is just a great approach for those chronic trigger points and that chronic tension that tends to live right in here. And then when I'm done, I want to make sure that I do those connecting strokes that bring everything together. If she's okay with this position, I would transition right into some low back work right here. So I would work from the same side of the table, but really quickly, I'm just going to show you from the opposite side of the table what this position does and how it's advantageous. With her arm in this position, it pulls the rib cage up just a little bit, and the hips are going to stay nice and stable. So there's an opening here from the lowest rib to the top of the iliac crest that maybe wasn't there before. And if there's anything down in here that I found at the beginning of the session, I can come back and revisit this work, do some friction, do some nice deep breath work. Remember that the QL very specifically is responsible for holding the rib cage down during a nice big deep breath in. So it's a big stabilizer. Let's go ahead and take another big deep breath in, Isabel. And as she exhales, really asking this low back to relax and open up, and really paying attention to these really strong muscles, these deep stabilizers, and any kind of lumbar issues that might be showing up for my client. All right, to wrap things up, I'm going to bring my client's arm back up to her side in a nice neutral position, and I'm going to reposition myself so that I can really pull this work all the way through all the muscles I've just focused on. Bring her work, bring her energy, bring her all of that tension down, out into the arm. Not that I want it to stay in the arm, but if I pull it all the way through to the hand, oftentimes energetically, we can think about this coming all the way out the fingertips, maybe even give the hand some love, pull that work out through the fingertips. Depending on how much detail and how much time you have, this can feel amazing. Supporting the hand and the wrist as we go, giving the thumb a little extra love because thumbs are thumbs, and maybe one more big swoop. I'm going to tuck her hand back down underneath the covers. And then the last thing I want to do is repeat all of that on the other side. Keep things balanced, make sure that she's acknowledging that I am paying attention to everything and that she and I are communicating about what she's feeling, what I'm feeling, and making sure that this work feels complete and detailed to her, and that I'm not just going off of a rote protocol. I am listening and paying attention and giving her the work she needs. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you learned something new, thought about something differently, or just want more content like this and less nonsense. I'm not going to beg, but also subscribe. See you next time.